Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Live. I have a treat for you. We've got Edwige Robinson with us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And you have such great content to share with everybody tonight. We're going to hear about your grittiness, your resilience, the way in which you've navigated this field of technology in a predominantly male environment as a triple minority and an expert in your field. You are an engineer, you're a leader, you work at Comcast. You and I know each other for years, and you are a mentor in the Tech Connect mentoring program. Among other many ways that you have enriched my life, you are an incredible mentor. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yes. So I want to jump right in, and I also want to encourage everybody who's joining us to please put your questions in the chat, whether you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook. Please use the comment section to ask her questions, and she's going to go through this philosophy and some of her life experiences, and then we're going to have some time for Q&A and reflection. So please enjoy what Edwige is going to share with us, and take it away.
Excellent.
Oops.
Trying to get my window here.
Okay.
I think I need you to pop my slide.
All right, there we go.
There you go. Okay. 1 second.
No problem. And so for those of you who are just joining us, I've just asked that you put your questions in the comment section, and as soon as we get to hear this awesome presentation, we're going to ask her some questions.
Let me know when you see it.
Yes, I can see it perfectly.
Excellent, excellent. So to everyone, thank you so much. I'm so glad you are here today. You could have been somewhere else, but you chose to be here with us. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. I am Edwige Robinson, Vice President of Engineering Services for Xfinity Mobile, Retail and Convergence at Comcast NBC Universal. When I look at the picture of the young girl at the top, I am so full of emotion. And I want to take the next few minutes together to share with you my professional journey, at least a part of it, and share with you some tangible advice that I hope that you can use as a matter of fact as of tomorrow. So those tangible tips will be able to have to help you navigate your journey as well. Most of us remember that most genuine conversation we have and most authentic conversation we have has been around the fire. I remember growing up, I loved sitting around the fire with my grandmother, her sisters, and I remember my grandmother telling me, come closer to the fire. We're about to say something important. Listen and take what you need. So today, I want to invite you to the bridge in between campfire. Come closer, call your friend, call your family member, call your best friend. Let's get closer to this fireplace and let's have an authentic and genuine conversation. I work for Comcast, an amazing, amazing company. Can you believe in the estimated net worth of 205 billion? I mean, with the B, 205 billion. How amazing is that? The company owns tremendous amount of brand that most of us know. Bravo, E for the channel cable, digitally for Hulu, Fandango if you go to the movies, film, Universal Studio, but also on Focus, and the park, and not only here, but also throughout the world. And as of last, I believe 2 years ago, we acquired Sky, which is almost like a cable in England. And my focus is on Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Mobile is our wireless provider. We are #1 across all MNO. Can you believe it? We started only 3 years ago. And I'm so proud of the work that we have done as a team and an organization to make the customer stickier. So people that have Xfinity Mobile are 40 to 50 times stickier than a customer that doesn't have mobile. What does that mean? As you know, sometimes when people move, they're bouncing, ever changing, ever moving from other provider. But people that have Xfinity Mobile will stay with Comcast much longer. So Xfinity Mobile, this wireless service, provide a tremendous value proposition to our whole offering. So I'm very, very proud of the work we're doing. And now today we're offering 5G LTE as well. So if you're looking for a provider, please consider Xfinity Mobile. So a lot of people ask me, how you made it to Vice President, Edwige? What seemed like overnight success was many, many years in the making. You see, I'm from Ivory Coast, a beautiful country in West Africa. Unfortunately, the poverty, prostitution, and our way of living are part of our lives. Really, really early on as a child, I learned, as you see that girl on the right, I learned to have joy and find joy in the little thing. I knew that we didn't have much, but I found my joy in Christ and also in the family that I had. And turning as a teen, I found this hurdle when I became a teen parent. It was a detour that taught me so much. I remember still the conversation I had with the nurse when I was sitting in that room. I remember the nurse telling me, why you did this to yourself? Most people, and most young girl like you, end up on the street selling their body. And the kid end up in jail. But something rose in me so strong that even as a polite young girl, I told the nurse, no, it won't be me. I refused early on not to be a victim. I refused early on not to be another statistic. I took responsibility for my action. I took care of my son. I took care of myself. I was a child having another child. I didn't even know how to take care of a child, how to give love to a child. But that strength and that courage happened day over day. I had to take steps beyond my own strength in order to make it through. I had to learn really quick that sometimes courage is not the option. It is the only choice that you have. I had to overcome an array of adversity and climb so many mountains. I remember going to school after I had my son, and there was no space at the public school. And my aunt told me, well, you're gonna have to sit out this year. We were unable to register you. I told her, can we look for another school? And she found a school that was 2 hours away. She came in almost in tears and told me, are you gonna do it? I told Aunt Sabine, I can. I will do my best. I don't want to go back. I don't want to retake the class. So every day I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning so I can catch the bus, so I can be on time for the 7 o'clock class. So when people ask me how you become courageous, it's by overcoming those difficulties, overcoming those mountains, overcoming those adversity. It doesn't diminish you, it strengthens you. And after all those hard years, I was bestowed with an amazing gift to arrive in the United States. Brings so much good memory and frightened memory. I remember arriving at the airport frightened, so scared. Before leaving, my family was like, why would you go to a country where you can even speak the language? Who does that? And I told my parents, how often somebody like me win the green card lottery, which is a diversity visa, to come to another country when I cannot speak a language? How often that happens? I take my chances. If I go, if it doesn't work out, I can always come back. So I arrived in the United States, holding tightly to my suitcase on right hand and my English dictionary on my left hand. I remember talking to the taxi driver to give him the address of the host family. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if you're gonna take me to the right place, but I have no choice, I have to go. Quickly, I had to assimilate to the country. I remember that time I had 2 to 3 jobs. I was learning English as a second language, which is called ESOL. And it's during one of those classes that the Professor Johnson, was talking about a job working in a manufacturing from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. I remember when he mentioned that, nobody even raised their head. Back then, people were sending ads to different schools. And I remember Mr. Johnson saying, there's this second shift job, and it's from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Nobody raised their head. After class, I ran to his office. I said, Mr. Johnson, how much we pay for that job? He looked at me and said, really, Edwige? You have no car. How are you going to make it there? I repeated, Mr. Johnson, how much we pay for the job? He said they pay $12.50 an hour. I was like, this would be amazing, Mr. Johnson. My work at the grocery store paid me $6 an hour. The job at the movie theater paid me $5.50. I can at least give up one of the jobs and be able to have at least a night of sleep. He said, how are you going to have a night of sleep, Edwige? This is the second shift. That means you don't sleep, you work at night. That's fine. Give me the number, Mr. Johnson. He gave me the number, he gave me the address. I didn't even bother calling. I went straight to the location. I remember the guy, the recruiter coming outside looking at me. And it was like, we'll give you the information. I said, my school, Montgomery College. He said, well, do you have any experience working in a manufacturing place? I said, no, but I remember Mr. Johnson said, you guys do on-job training. So I'm ready to learn. He looked at me, shook his head, and left. And 2 hours later, he came and said, well, we want to know, do you have a car? Actually, he said, do you have transportation? I was like, I don't have transportation. However, I checked the bus schedule. The first bus comes at 5:30 a.m. I will wait in the cafeteria until the bus comes so I can make it home. He shook his head and left. I sat there for hours. Around 5:30 p.m. that day, he came back and said, here's your uniform. You start on Monday. Be here at 1 p.m. There's orientation from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure that you come on time and bring something, a long sweater, because it's cold in the manufacturing location. You say, okay, thank you, sir. And this is how I enter in the tech field. I was working in the manufacturing from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., building motherboards from satellite system. I learned about AC, DC, I learned about resistors, transistor, I learned about different temperature. And this job allowed me to learn so much about hardware and how to do interconnection to ensure that things are working, how to do audit. So I'm sharing that to let you know to say yes to the scary opportunity. Even when it looks foggy, even when it looks like you don't have everything figured out, say yes. Because you never know if that will be your launch pad to something even better. By saying yes to that job, it bestowed me so many great opportunities. Because I knew how to interconnect different components, I learned how to connect cell site. I not only work for Nortel, I work for AT&T, Verizon Wireless, and Sprint. I knew how to do the commissioning from the site. And from outdoor cell site to indoor cell site, from CDMA to TDMA to GSM, I learned all of it because I was willing to study. I was willing to do the job training. And after several years in the field, learning and installing and getting good at it, I asked my boss, what do I need to do to stop being in the field? I'm in the snow, I'm in the heat. What do I need to do to work in the office so I can learn Planet and I can actually design the cell site that I'm installing? And he looked at me and said, come on, Edwige, you are too rough on the edges. Every time I talk to you, you're talking about troubleshooting and stuff that you need to fix. In the office, they need people that speak about ROI. I don't know, what is ROI? It says return on investment. You see, you need to learn business language. Do you even have your bachelor? I'm like, no, but I do have my associate degree in engineering. He said, well, you need a bachelor degree in order to work in the office. I say, okay, no time for excuses. I went back to school in the middle of everything. I went to school at night after work. I not only obtained my bachelor in engineering, but I obtained my MBA and strengthened my leadership skill along the way in school like Wharton and Harvard. So you see, my friends, success requires sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up something. I was willing to give up comfort. I was willing to give up sleep. I was willing to give up time with my family. At the time, I have my young boys. I was ready to do whatever it took in order for me to get on the other side. I could not play the victim. I could not say, why me? Why you didn't let me go? Why you didn't give me a shot? You could have just hooked me up. I say, okay, let me know what it would take in order for me to get on the other side. And I did it. So what I've learned along the way, I know that we don't have enough time to talk about the whole 25 years journey, but I want to share with you a few nuggets. The first thing is, when you arrive to any organization, attach yourself to the organism. What does that mean? Usually when people arrive somewhere to an organization, the first thing they want to do is they want to change things, or they want to prove that when they hire me, I need to prove to them why they hire me. Well, you may fall flat on your face if you don't understand how things get done in that place. You need to understand the culture. You need to understand how to speak the language. Only then you can acquire the trust, and only then you can influence it. You have to learn to be prepared to speak up. As a minority, microaggression, aggression, racism, whatever discrimination, anything that those triple Ds will happen to you. It is part of the package. So be prepared. While we're waiting for that not to become the norm, it is the norm today. It's going to take years for that to be erased and eradicated. We are currently walking through that. But be prepared so that you're not surprised. To me, microaggressions are just another type of racism. The difficulty is, it's going to happen so many times that if you're not careful, it may impact your confidence. So you need to be prepared. Like me, I have a few sentences that I've prepared in the back of my mind, in the back pocket. And one of them is, I hear, if I would get a penny for every time somebody tells me this, I'll probably be a millionaire by now. For someone from Africa, you speak excellent English. What does that actually mean? I mean, in Africa, we know in trees, there's library, we go to school. But I usually remain calm and I say thank you. I hope I was born here, but I've been told to be worldly because I speak several languages. I smile and keep it going. I can count how many times people trying to translate what I'm saying. Like I cannot translate like I'm not speaking English. So people will say, well, what Edwige is trying to say or what she's trying to say. So I usually remain calm and say, actually, if you give me a moment, I can elaborate on my point. I can elaborate on my idea. I can elaborate on what I was saying earlier. So you're going to encounter discrimination. You're going to encounter many things. You need to have a couple of sentences that you know are coming over and over so that you have it ready, so you can remain calm. You can remain composed, so that you don't come across as somebody aggressive or somebody unpredictable. While we're going to encounter so many issues like this, you still have to be careful and pick your battle wisely. While I'm ready to always go to the mat, my team knows, everybody knows that I'm a mama bear. You have to understand that you cannot fight every battle. Not everything needs to be resolved unless it's happening over and over and over, and then you know that you need to solve it. You have to remember that you're building credibility and you're working with people. You need them to help you with other things. So choose your battle wisely. Sometimes you have to step back and make a choice if this is worth fighting for, or you just deal with that another time. I love this quote that basically says you never reach your destination if you stop to throw a stone at every dog that barks. This is so meaningful. And this is applicable at work, in your family, anywhere you are. You need to be very careful about how you pick your battle. Listen to yourself, but make sure that you address the more important one. I love this next one. Dare to ask for what you need. Complaining is not asking. I tell that to all my mentees. Complaining about something is not asking. Providing hand to people is not asking. If you need something, ask. If you need someone's support, ask them. If you need your boss to support you for something, ask. If you need a colleague to support you, if you need your spouse to support you, if you need a friend to support you, if you need something, ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. So learn to ask. And then if you get no, you put together the data and you come back. Most of the leadership classes I was able to go to, especially at Harvard and Wharton, those classes are expensive, over $30K for less than a few weeks. But I went to my leadership and asked for it, and then went back again until I got the yes. So dare to ask for what you need. You'll be surprised of the many yeses that you get. Learn to claim your success. I love when people say, well, nobody recognizes the work I'm doing. People are busy. There's 20,000 things happening. If you don't claim your success and you don't highlight the great things that you are doing quarter over quarter, who else is going to do it for you? Who else? So by not only claiming your success, it allows you to develop your brand, but you also have to remember that your brand is what people are saying about you when you are not in the room. It is such an important competitive advantage that each one of us have. And not only the difficulty of it is that if you don't like the brand that you hear, you can change it. Like for me, I don't let people define my brand. I let them know where I stand. Everybody that work with me and stay with me know that I'm a person of excellence, high integrity, and optimism. I make sure that I communicate clearly. And one of my actual superpowers is my ability to provide clear breakdown detail and then demystifying everything that's complex so that people can make informed decisions and so we can get to a resolution. I even go further and ensure that my signature at work clarify what I stand for. Ownership, accountability, I'm dependable, and I take responsibility for my action. I take responsibility for me and my team and how we impact the bottom line. So yes, you need to be humble, but don't fade away. Keep your promises and stay strong. This next one, I think a lot of them will probably relate to that. Learn to negotiate. Everything in life has some type of negotiation in it. Most people, because they did not negotiate their first salary, are still 20 to 30% gap behind just because they did not negotiate the first salary. Whatever they gave them, they took it. I wish I knew how to negotiate when I went to the manufacturing job. I just took it. But I'm glad that midway in my career, I learned quickly about the importance of negotiation and how to strategize, how to focus on my strength when I present something, and how to keep my partner, which is the best alternative of a negotiated agreement. In other words, is what are you willing to accept before you even get to the table, so that there's no emotion, there's no screaming, there's no confusion. You already know what you are willing to accept. So for example, if you're negotiating a $50,000 salary, but you know in the back of your mind that I can walk over with 45 if they give me a $10,000 bonus. That will allow me to kind of like close the gap. We don't know that, but you know that this is kept in your back pocket. So as you're having a conversation with them, and they're coming to a point where you see that there's a tug of war, you guys getting there, you can say, okay, I'm willing to take 45 with a $10,000 bonus or with a $5,000 bonus, so that you are prepared in your back pocket what you need to do. And then sometimes you have to say what you need to say and be quiet. Silence is very uncomfortable for the other person, but you can prepare, all right? So you can keep your silence as long as you can. And then we're gonna break the silence and we're gonna start talking, and then you're gonna nod your head because you have your partner in your back pocket. And then if the negotiation doesn't align with your value, be okay to walk away. That means it wasn't for you. Because what is for you is for you. Nobody can take it. This next one is really for women. As you know, I'm a big advocate for women in tech. And I want to remind women, when you look on the right, we already have to every day prove ourselves why we deserve a seat at the table, why we need to be there, why we deserve this job, why we deserve the rate, why we deserve X, why we deserve Y. We constantly have to prove ourselves to everyone. So don't feel threatened by another woman. We are all in the same team. Stop sabotaging other women. As a matter of fact, when you finish to talk about her shoes and her hair and her necklace, compliment her on her career accomplishment. Compliment her on a project that she just completed. Compliment her on how she's leading her team. Compliment her on how she's dealing with her business. Compliment her. We all in this together. And then you will see really quickly that you need to build relationship with other women, build your success network, build a partner, and part of those partners are your other women, your ally, your mentor, your sponsors. So you will have to learn very quickly that you cannot get to the top alone. You need ally, you need mentor, you need sponsor, you need people that are going to be helping you along the way. You need your personal board of directors. Where in it, make sure you have at least one or two people that will tell you the truth. A couple of people told me before, Edwige, you know you speak French, right? I'm like, okay, I'm French, but sometimes you speak too fast. Why are you sharing great information I cannot hear? So I learned to slow down. I learned to breathe. I learned to be an ally. I learned to be a mentor. You need ally in order to navigate the workplace. You need somebody that's going to talk about you while you're not in the room. You need that invisible angel that basically will put himself on the line for you. And in the mix of all of this, you need to prepare yourself to also fail sometime. Failure is our best teacher. I remember going to a couple of places. I'm like, I don't think this job is for me. But I would have never known if I would have tried it. So failure may be a delay, but not a defeat. It may be a detour, but not a dead end. So develop a growth mindset. If something happened to you, consider that it will probably happen. If you live long enough, you're going to have some failure along the way. Don't let that break you down to a point where you don't have the strength to go again. You have to learn to overcome those challenges and remember that those challenges help you to grow and become a better person over time. So don't have the fear of starting something because you don't want to fail. People that want to run away from failure are people that never say something and never do anything. Don't be one of them. This next one applies a lot to people in tech, but I think it probably applies to many of us, which is the imposter syndrome. You think that everybody else knows more than you do. But in reality, you know as much as them. And then if you don't know, guess what? You're learning, you figure it out. We are all winging it. We are all trying our best. I came across with so many people that were paralyzed with the imposter syndrome and so scared to claim their success, so scared to say that they got something accomplished. When in reality, everybody's doing their best. Everybody knows as much as you in reality. I have some key mantra that I use myself. When I get somewhere and then I feel that imposter syndrome rising, I breathe and I tell to myself internally, I'm meant to be here. I'm not afraid to be great. I am enough. I know as much as every person in this room. I deserve to be here. So when you're going through your journey and you're having that syndrome that comes, because it happened to all of us, keep yourself a couple of mantra that you're going to tell yourself to get yourself to calm down and recenter yourself and find yourself and know that everything that you have learned into that point will get you through. And I learned early on that technical skills are great, but you need to have a tremendous amount of expertise in communication and learn to be curious. That will save you along the way. A lot of people are technical, but they're unable to communicate clearly the idea, unable to communicate clearly to upstream what needs to take place, what is needed. In reality, 20 to 20%, or 20 to 25% is coding, but the rest is communication. How are you going to work with everybody else? So learn to communicate in the way that you can break down complex idea and make it very digestible so that people will come to you to get something clear. This is one of my superpower. People come to me all the time, Edwige, here are those 200 pages. Can you please tell me what it is? Or when we were going through the merger with a couple of companies, but like there's so much stuff going on. Which way do you think we can tell the people what's going on in a very simple way? Because we know that because I grew up in the Ivory Coast, near my grandparents, near my family, I always was the one translated everything from my grandmother. So subsequently, I'm always putting the hat on. How can I explain this to my grandmother? We have no idea what technology is. We have no idea what business is, what this actually means. You will be surprised. It will tremendously catapult you many, many years ahead. You gain influence through positivity and by adding value. What does that mean? You know that you can only control two things, your ethic and your attitude. The rest, you have to let that to life. And you also have to learn to add value by prioritizing your work by the one that brings the most value. People get busy doing nothing. You want to ensure that the work that you do align with the overall strategy for the quarter, what your boss needs, what your team needs, and how that get you to the team forward. So learn to have a tremendous amount of positivity, even though when you're going to get tough, and learn to add value. You will be surprised of a tremendous dividend that you get out of it. Then as leader, you need to be careful about your energy because your energy matters. You're almost like in a fishbowl. When you may be coming to work because you didn't sleep the night before, because your son was sick or anything to that nature, but somebody would think that's maybe because they didn't do a good job. So as a leader, your energy matters so much that you need to walk and you need to radiate positive energy. You need to trust your inner compass. Sometimes when you have to share something with your team, but you need to find a way to not only encourage yourself, also encourage your team. The importance of your body language is so important. Some people have no idea of their energy. People have no idea how they show up. Or how they show up from meeting to meeting. I usually stop in the bathroom to breathe. Breathe before a meeting, and then show up the best way possible as you move into those phases throughout the day. Because guess what? Your team is watching. Somebody's watching all the time. I know that people underestimate that. Kindness and civility. You don't need to be a mean person or a mean leader to get things done. You remember that at some time in your life, you were on the other people's shoe. Because before you became a boss, you were also an employee, an individual contributor. So treat people with kindness and civility. Don't use curse word. You're better than that. Don't be unkind to people. Don't talk behind their back. They are your direct report. They count on you to protect them and take care of them. Being nice is to tell someone exactly the truth and kind. And telling them exactly what improvement they need so that they can move forward and be successful. Don't be nice, don't be a pushover, be kind. Be someone with clarity. Be someone that somebody can count on. That, you know what, I've been with a lot of bosses, but this boss, I don't think I can find her or find him anywhere else. Be a leader that promotes equity. Equity is given to each person what they need versus equality is to give to everyone the same thing. You know people are different. You know that people need different things. You know people have, personally myself, I have a son with autism. So I would hope that his boss, his leader, will give him more time to do a project because he needs more time. We can say, okay, everybody get 1 week to finish the development project. This other person may need 2 days, another person may be 2 weeks. So learn your team, get to know them personally. It takes time, it takes commitment, it takes an investment of your time so that you can learn what each person needs in order to reach the greater self. And I already talked about this one, but as leader, you need to deliberately hit pause every now and then. You don't have to answer that email right away. You don't have to reply to this right away. Pause. When you pause, you give yourself space to see yourself in that movie that's going on. You give yourself space for your power to come back to you and recenter. And then give yourself time to pay attention to your gut and listen to yourself and know if you should go right, left, or just be quiet. A lot of people say knowledge is power. I believe knowledge of self is superpower. At the end, it's all about really, it doesn't matter if you're an individual contributor or a leader. It's how you work well with people. Yeah, people are confusing, we're complex. But our number one challenge in any job, as a matter of fact, in life, is to learn Learn to speak human. And sometimes you may just have to buy that coffee. That little, sign of kindness goes a long way. Every now and then you may just have to buy that muffin, that cookie, $1 here, 50 cents here, goes a long way, pay tremendous dividend, because everybody's going through something throughout their life, and we all need kindness. We all need someone to lift us up. If each one of us use our power to lift each other up, it's going to be an amazing world. But it always starts with us. It always starts with us. So I want to bring it all together for you. Remember, build your network, build your personal board of director, attach yourself to the organism before you can influence it. Choose your battle wisely and decide what is worth fighting for. Be prepared to speak up and ask for what you want. Be a leader who promotes equity. Learn to pose and learn to embrace hope. Embrace being different. Define your brand and pay attention to your energy. Communication and being curious are sometimes more valuable than if you know framework X or Y. And at the end of all, have the courage to aim high. Unfortunately, the door handle of courage only opens from inside yourself. Nobody can open it for you. You actually have to take that step yourself. So I want to leave you with this. I hope that will play this video. Sit back and watch.
I'll be fine.
Have fun.
I'll do it. Well, here goes something, I guess. Oh, okay, you can do this. I'm gonna jump.
You got it.
Whoa, my ski's slipping off.
Just remember, never snowplow, okay?
No snow plows.
Keep it straight, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You can do on the 20.
Straight. Do you go faster on the end run?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Is it any steeper, do you think? Not much?
Same steepness, it's just longer.
Well, just longer. Just longer. Just a bigger 20, that's all.
Yep. Have
It's a
fun.
bigger 20. Go ahead. You got it. I got it. It's fine. You'll be fine. Okay. Here. The longer you wait, you'll be more scared. I go. Just the suspense at the top of the first time freaks you out. That's the only thing. It's so fun. Huh? 60 seems like nothing now. Wow!
It's a success at the top. Don't we all get stuck at the top? So afraid. But guess what? If she can do it, you can do it. She did it while she was scared. And she realized at the end that she could do it. I love the voice of her little brother telling her, the longer you wait, the more you're going to get scared. Don't we all deal with that? Don't we all have that, that fear inside, that nervousness? But that nervousness that you have means that you're actually growing. So promise me to raise your hand while you are scared. Promise me to keep going while you are scared. Please keep moving. Please keep going. Courage is your bridge to greatness. Thank you so much. And I hope that that video stays with you when those moments of difficulty come. Remember, you can do it. Thank you.
This is on behalf of everybody. Oh my gosh.
You are so welcome.
You are amazing. I'm so thrilled to share you and your wisdom and just this opportunity to be together right now, all of us in this moment. And I just want to share some of these comments with you.
Oh, thank you.
Say yes and be willing to do whatever it takes. No time for excuses. We've got some questions coming up here too.
Oh,
awesome.
thank you
You
so
find
much.
the silver lining and everything. I love your courage and resiliency. Oh, and look, this is from your very own.
My very own.
Stephanie. Stephanie's here. She is Edwige's mentee.
Oh, that means so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, she's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. To your leadership.
Thank you so much, Jean-Jacques. Thank you so much.
And here's a question. What kept you motivated during your journey?
This question has so many layers, right? So what is the baseline of motivation? Is what keep you going when the going get tough. And for me, growing up in the Ivory Coast, we didn't have much. And I had to learn to not only overcome so many challenges. So coming to the United States, one of my major goals was I can not only take care of my family here in the United States, but also deliver for my family back home. I cannot give them more than they deserve so that I can change their life. So when you're going get tough, I'm not doing that only for me. I'm doing that for my family in the United States and for my family back home. So that is my main motivation. Yes, the finances are important, but because of the ability and the privilege that I have, I'm able to change so many lives. And that is my motivation.
Oh, that's awesome. Edwige, you're amazing. How about this one? Men will sometimes apply for positions that they're not qualified for, yet women are more likely to wait until they meet all of the requirements. What gave you the strength to defy the odds?
I think I'm going to go back to one that I asked, something I shared earlier. I just asked. I asked when I was scared. I asked scared. And I was like, what is the worst going to happen? No. That would be the worst answer, right? But usually people are surprised when you ask because they're not expecting you to ask. They expect you to just sit there, put your head down and work really hard and hope that somebody will, will pick you from the cloud. It doesn't usually happen that way. You have to stand up and share about the great thing that you do and then share people your body of work and hear here's the reason why I deserve the raise and here I'm impacting the business and hear my contribution to the evolution of our business. But nobody can go against that. The data speak for itself.
Yeah, and that's part of what we're covering in our mentoring program about how women rise. And you have reached out to me personally to say this really resonates with you, or this is something that you've practiced, which is that exactly that, like taking credit and being able to stand by your work and let it speak for, not just let it speak for itself, but be willing to speak for it as well as it's speaking for itself. But I think that, what caused you to ask for help? Like, where did you get that courage from, particularly early on with that first job where you were told, no, don't even show up, don't even apply, how are you going to get there? And then you literally just showed up and, made yourself the candidate of choice.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's okay to share that here. I know this is a workplace, but it's my strength in God. And everywhere I get somewhere, I remind myself that I'm not alone. And anytime I have to go to those places, I remember so many times in the bus, sleeping and praying, going from job to job. I actually got very comfortable sleeping in the bus, but the bus became actually a very good, comfortable place to sleep.
Sure.
But it's knowing that nobody's coming to save you. There's nobody's coming. You have to speak up. You have to ask. You have to make that first step. And God usually come raising and get you through. But you have to make that first step. Yeah. So, I'm Christian, and everybody that know me know that I love my relationship with God, and my relationship with God has strengthened me throughout and got me through a lot of craziness.
Yes, yes. I know that your mom is so proud of you,
Oh, thank you.
Edwige, and I know that when she hears you say things like that, it must be so gratifying to her and, your upbringing.
Thank you.
Yes. So how do you manage your time with all of your responsibilities?
Mm. Well, I think there's a misconception that you can have it all. I don't know if this is related to women or men. I don't think you can have it all. You need to make a conscious decision on what you need to focus on for that season of your life, right? So many seasons in my life, my goal was go to school, get your degree. During those times, I missed a couple of birthdays. I missed parties. I missed family event because I was focused to complete my degree. So you manage your responsibility, you manage the different things that you have in life by focusing on what is necessary during that season. And then when you finish one season, you pivot to the other one, and then something else is important during that season. So it would be unkind to say, yes, I was able to manage everything easily, and I was sleeping. I remember a time, as I mentioned, I was sleeping in the bus, I was sleeping in the train, because I need to get rest in between. So managing your responsibility, your kid's not gonna go away. They're with you for life. Your husband's not gonna go away, he's there for life. But your support system, but also your support system, right? They're there with you to help you through the different responsibilities that you have in life. So have a plan, write it down what you need to do, and focus on the different activities that you have. And then remember that there's a season for each thing.
Oh my gosh, that's so empowering to hear you say that. And when you spoke earlier about how success requires sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing that again in your response, that it requires sacrifice, that you can't do everything, but in the seasons, you can do everything possible, including sacrifice some of your own comfort.
That's right.
Yes. And Nani loved the video. Debbie's saying thank you. Your fans are here. And as soon as anybody meets you, that you have more fans. This is a standing ovation from the group.
Thank you so much.
Debbie's daughter is asking her why she's crying.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Yes, and Kevin Justice is here telling you how inspiring you are.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you so
much. Oh my gosh, absolutely. So, you're a woman in technology, and I'm personally very curious to hear just what have you been thinking about lately related to like AI, machine technology, mobility? I thought it'd be cool to just end with like a word of tech talk.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. So for everybody in the mobile industry, 5G is here to stay, right?
Yep.
So we are, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, all the wireless providers are in the race to 5G, because we know that the millisecond delay will create an accident on the road because of the driving cars. Mm-hmm. So it is something amazing that's coming. The interconnection from machine learning, from AI, and how we utilize the data lake of all those information in order to make informed decisions, not only in healthcare, but in education. I mean, it's going to be tremendous. Yeah. So don't miss that journey. It is, it's going to be an amazing journey, and the 5G journey is on, and please don't stay behind.
Yeah. And how are people staying up with the journey? What are you recommending for people to not miss the boat?
I would say for sure, stay in touch with the news. Get in the newsletter related to tech or business in tech. They have most of the latest data. YouTube is my best friend. Google is my best friend. Yeah. So, stay in touch with all those, and then stay in touch with me.
Yeah.
You can stay with me on my website, www.edwigemobile.com, and we can stay connected, and, we in it to win it.
Yes.
We're going for gold.
Yes, go for gold. Yeah, this is Edwige's contact information, and I'll make sure that it's in my notes as well to everybody, so you know how to contact her and stay in touch. She's a speaker at many tech conferences. She's very well sought after, and a mentor in our program every year. And it's like a line of candidates who want to be partnered with you for all good reason. And, I think that these key takeaways are so important for us to, even if we could just focus on one of these things that you've shared with us today, and maybe it's this one, right now in this time. I mean, we're still in the pandemic, and things are unfortunately seeming to grow and climb and become really scary. And you're saying to us, when you're standing on the top of that mountain and you see the tips of your skis and your heart is racing, just go.
Just go.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. Just
Yes.
go. Just
Yes.
go. That you always have to remember, the door of courage is open from inside. Everybody can encourage you, but the only person that can open it is you. So just go for it.
Excellent.
You have everything you need.
Yeah.
You just go for it. You will be amazed. You will be amazed of the greatness that's coming on the other side.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. And look, we've got Susan Jen Davis with us.
Oh,
She said thank you and that she appreciates you. And Christian is here.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway. So thank you for inviting us to this fireside conversation. I've enjoyed warming up with you and, seeing like the glow of the fire in your face while we have this awesome conversation and grow together. Thanks for always being a member of my board of directors and just a dear friend that I treasure.
Oh, thank you so much. This is such a pleasure. I'm glad that we had a chance to have an authentic and safe, for creating this safe place where we can come in and have those genuine conversations. We need that, especially in this environment and climate. Yes. We need a space where we can tell the truth and, encourage each other and, and go for gold.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe and healthy, and we appreciate you.